Hi, this is Myra with Boutique Paint. Today we're making Christmas ornaments and we're going to be using Ironwork Designs Cozy Stamp, and we're going to be using Primo clay, or excuse me, Sculpty clay. I was reading the Primo here, and some cookie cutters. And so let's get these set aside and we'll get started. This is what I had, so I was kind of playing with it and seeing what it would look like, and I found out that this particular accents actually has a little bit of glitter in it, and I don't know, maybe I assumed that they were all like that because it's been a while. But then I bought more, and these definitely don't have glitter in them. I don't know if this is still being made. This is a little bit on the older side, but it's kind of cool. So I kind of work these into a ball. The red just as stiff can be. I don't know why it's being so stubborn. So I've got red, green, a darker green, than this one, and white. And I'm going to roll it out. I've told you before, if you've watched any of the other videos that I've done about my rolling pin, these you can set the depth so that you're rolling out consistent. So I keep turning it, otherwise you get kind of a oblong. Just kind of keep changing directions. Make sure, especially with the white, that your surface is clean. Oh, and you can see on my cookie cutter there's red. So I'm going to wipe it really quick, although it's kind of too late. But just make sure everything's super clean when you go to do white. That's the basic of it. And there, my cookie cutters have got this little lip thing here, and the clay is getting in there too. Not the best design, but that's what I got. So, all right, we're going to try to put it where it was. I see another red little piece on this side. And just gently push it out of the mold. And you can see it actually makes a little funky spot. Just take your finger and roll it, and that'll be good. But you can see there's red now on there. So that's what I'm talking about. It just kind of gets everywhere. So I'm going to roll this back into a ball so that it can be ready for the next one. And it's still warm. You can put it in a Ziploc bag, and then even better yet, if you take the Ziploc bag and then put it in Tupperware or plastic container, that would be ideal. So this one, I'm not going to stamp the stocking itself. I'm actually going to layer this one. So I'm going to set that aside. Actually, I'm going to, well, yeah, I need to punch a hole in it still. So I'm going to do red next. And this red is as stiff as can be. It's just being kind of a, and I'm going to use the cookie cutter again, and I'm going to cut a top. And because that edge is jagged, I'll lift it, and then I'll just slide it aside so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to come along here, and I'm just going to cut the bottom. If you continue to use the cookie cutter to make different cuts for yourself, you get pretty clean lines. So now I want to do a toe. Let's see, because this is a clean line, I'm going to use that for my toe. And then I think I want a heel. Let's see. Use that as the heel. And that's got a jagged edge. So I think I'm going to use this edge, and just cut that off. Okay, once again, I'm going to take this, I'm going to roll it up, keep it all together, keep the moisture in it. This activates in the oven, so it won't, it does dry out, but it takes a while. But keep it out of the air and it'll last longer. So then what I'm going to do, I shouldn't put those so close, but I'm going to take the stamp from Cozy and I'm going to ink it up. And I'm using Stone Gray. And just pick a place on the stamp that you like. And set it down on it and just firmly press. Now you can either do this just by pressing, or you can use your rolling pin again. Whoop! And there goes my light. I need a bigger workbench. I've been trying to get a bigger workbench. See all that red? That's what I'm talking about. And I don't need to clean this at this point, but since I saw it, I'm just going to wipe it down with a baby wipe. So just put your rolling pin right in the middle and just kind of rock it. And you can see it's shifting this way and this way, but it's okay. As long as it doesn't shift a whole bunch. Lift it up and you've made an impression. So I'm going to go ahead and just set that to the side. And then I'm going to put these two, I'm actually going to put them together. Closely together. And then I'm going to ink it up. And this time I won't use a rolling pin. I will just use my fingers so you can see the difference. It's just a matter of putting a good amount of pressure on it and no movement. You probably wouldn't want to do the rolling pin if you do it two pieces together, because it could make the whole thing shift. And that you can see works just as well. So I'm going to set these two little pieces aside, clean up your ink. I'll put these on my piece of foil on a cookie sheet that I have over here to the side of me. And before I put my stocking on there, I'm going to put this piece on top. Now I'm going to bake these separate and then glue them together after they're baked. I don't know if you were to roll it in there, if it would stay enough long term. So I'm going to do it this way. And this is a dollar store tool. It's for doing dotting. I also think it's for something else. I think it's for like nails or something. Anyway, it's in the craft part of the $1.25 store now. And I'm just going to push in. Oops. And I put my nails right into my stocking. And I'm going to pull out. And that way those two are lined up. And you can just, if you do have lines, you can just take your finger. Oh, and then there's the red. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And set that aside. What you can do is, if you get red like this, is you can stamp then the whole thing. And I will show you. This is my stamped little stocking because the red clay got into the white clay and I didn't like it. So I went ahead and just stamped it with the red, which is tomato, ink. So my phone turned off on me. Just in mid sentence, of course. All right, that is rolled out. That looks really good. It's nice and pretty. So I'm going to, I don't think I can get anything else out of this square. This is a half a square also. But they come in big blocks. I bought small blocks, but they do come in the bigger blocks. So now what we're going to do, same thing, we're going to figure out on this one, let me show you, pull it over here. I didn't do it with the ink. This time we are going to do it with the ink, and I'm going to use this part of the stamp, which has got a little bit more detail. I'll just wipe it down real quick. And once again, I'm going to use the Stone Gray. And this isn't super wet. My stamp pad isn't super wet. I know that a lot of times the sisters are always saying, you know, make sure it's juicy. This is one time you don't need to make sure it's juicy. It's actually a little bit better if it's not too much. You're just trying to make a little bit of an impression. Also, you don't want the ink to be everywhere. So scoot that. Line it up the way I want it. And I'm going to use the rolling pin for this one. I'm just going to press though. And lift. And I should have cleaned up this edge, which you can tell I didn't because it's right there. So sometimes when you ink, that gets ink on it, and then when you go to do an impression, because we're pushing in, it will show up. I'm going to see if a little bit of a baby wipe might take that off it, which it does. Nice. That turned out cute. I love that in the center. Now on this one, I did cut it out and with the little star, and these are fun. And I'm hoping I can find a little bit smaller set of these. I don't know if they make them. I have to take a look, but they just have such cute little things. Cutters. So that's out of that set. So I could do like up here. Let's see what that will look like. I'm gonna pull it a little closer to me, but I love the way that came out. I thought that I had used this one for this, but I didn't. I had used that one. So gotta love old memories, old brains that don't work very well. So the reason why I'm kind of turning this to see if there's a better angle is because I'm getting really close to the edge here. Which once it bakes up, it'll probably be okay, but I'd really like to be that way. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. Now, if you had a smaller one of these, then you could use it as your top. I might do the top with that. Not completely sure. I'm going to use my little tool again just to push that star out of the cutter carefully. Red, let's do a red, which is going to be interesting because this stuff is hard. Let's do a red bell. And we're going to do the mixing white ink with this, just so I can show you what that would look like. And this stuff is just crazy hard, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough to even roll out for because the bell's kind of big. But maybe rolling it out will help warm it up. I even tried putting the hair dryer not on high by any means, because you know it is heat activated, but yeah, this isn't going to be enough just to warm it up, and that didn't seem to help. And I like the white. This was an old white, and it was just no problem. The green, no problem. But that being said, I know certain colors have certain issues or not issues. Certain colors have different thicknesses, and that might, as far as paints are concerned. So maybe that's the same thing with this. I don't know. Maybe I just got one that's stubborn. I might switch to the green just because the green is easier. Oh my goodness. Well, if nothing else, I am getting a workout. There's a bunch of red pieces there, so I'm going to pick it up. That's just... if I start breathing heavy, I'm sorry. It's getting there. Now you could do these in different thicknesses also. You know, if you wanted to do, this is 1/8 inch thick that I'm using. You could do 1/4 inch, and then that would probably, like where on the tree I stamped kind of closer to the edge, that's going to give you more thickness, and therefore it would probably be sturdier and less likely to either A, break, or just you know, fall apart, or you know, if Christmas ornaments get knocked around a little bit, at least ours do. We have a special box for them, but every now and then, you know, you open it up and it's like, oh, that's too bad. So I think that will be big enough. Definitely. All right. That looks good. I'm going to grab the white ink, which I don't have out. And this is the mixing white. And it looks dirty because I did something I wasn't supposed to do. But like last week when I used it, I blamed it on the kids. I'll probably do that from here on out. It's always the kids, right? I did let my little great nephews play with the inks and the stamps a while back ago. They had a blast. That being said, because they were young, they made a mess all over themselves. It was pretty stinking cute. So I don't know where I'm going to want to place this, so I'm just going to stamp the entire thing. Once again, I'm going to double check. It doesn't look like I got any on the edges that time. Yeah, that'll be good. Right there. Now on something bigger, it really is easier to use the rolling pin. I'm not exactly straight on the little bell part, but oh, that's sweet. All right, so then we're going to put our stamp or hole in there. The oven is set at 275, and I'm going to be baking them for 15 minutes, and then I'll check them and see how they're doing. If you do thicker, then you have to add more time. So check the instructions on it. So we're all baked up. And now what I'm going to do with this little stocking is these parts, I'm going to go ahead and glue, and I'm going to use a little E6000, but you can use any glue you might have. The reason why I like E6000 is because it's thick, kind of holds things in place while it's drying, which I like. Make sure your holes are lined up. Let's see. goes on like that. All right. Yep. And then that little guy's ready. And then you can put your string or your ribbon. I am so low on ribbon. I don't know. I didn't think I used that much last year, but I just went to look for a ribbon to string some of these up, and I don't have a lot. I did use silver on this because I liked the silver with this color. I went to put my little star on there and I pulled this too hard and it snapped off. So that makes me sad. But I think it was just a little too close to the edge. So next time I think I would put it down a little further. And I will wait for this to dry, and I'll probably just use this string because it matches the red and white also. Just got to use this star somewhere. It's so cute. I could cover up my little goober there with the red. See, that's why you want to keep these things, because if you do have goobers, then you can just set them there and glue them and nobody will know, right? Actually, I kind of do like that there. I think that's what I'll do. I don't know what I just did with my popsicle stick I was using, but so there's ways, if you do have trouble with the colors mixing, there are ways to get around it. You can cover it, you can stamp over it, whatever. If you have any questions about any of these products, you can go to our website at www.boutiquepaint.com. Thank you for joining me. Bye.